Hi everyone, and welcome to today's strength session with Cara for Fit for a Week. Before we begin our warm-up, we're going to run through our safety checklist. So first thing on the checklist is we're going to make sure that the space around us is clear. So we're going to have a quick scan around us to make sure that there is nothing we could fall over, such as toys, pets, rugs or furniture. To make sure we have enough room to exercise, we're going to take 2 big steps out in front, then back to the centre, 2 steps to our left, then back to the centre, 2 big steps to the right, back to the centre, and then we're going to take 2 steps behind us and back to the centre again. If you're able to do that comfortably and see no hazards around us, then you're ready to move on to the next check. So number 2, we're going to make sure that the environment is right for us by making sure that the temperature is not too hot or too cold. Feel free to open or close a window if you need to, whatever works best for you. Third thing is we're going to make sure that we're wearing loose, comfortable clothing. Make sure that you have loose, comfortable clothes on so you can move your arms and legs easily and the rest of your body. Number 4, make sure that you drink water before, during and after our session. Make sure that you have water beside you and that you drink it before, during and after our exercise class today. And last but not least, number 5, I just want you to make sure that you take this class at your own pace. Before we begin our workout, I just want to remind you all that if you do need to pause and take a slightly longer break at any stage, please feel free to do so. Also, if any of the exercises are hurting you, stop immediately and contact me. So now that we have our safety checklist out of the way and complete, feel free to turn on your music and let's get warmed up. So for nearly all the exercises, I'm going to give 3 examples before we begin. So we're going to start off by rolling our shoulders backwards. I've done it 3 times here now as an example, and now we're going to begin the real thing. So to roll our shoulders backwards, we're just going to bring them up towards our ears and drop them down as if we're dropping them into our back pocket. We're standing or sitting up nice and tall as we do this, bringing our shoulders up towards our ears and then dropping them back down. Remember to breathe as we do this. Well done. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to bring the shoulders forward, just like that. There's your example. And now we're going to do this 12 times as well. Sitting and standing up nice and tall, with our feet shoulder width apart, firmly planted on the ground. Bring them around, up towards our ears, and then back down again. I'm just going to quickly fix my sleeve here, but next up we're moving into arm circles forwards. So we're going to extend our arms straight out to the side at shoulder height, and we're going to move our arms in forward circles, starting off small and progressing into larger ones. We're going to do this 12 times. Nice and small, going forward, keeping our arms out straight and our shoulders down. Remembering to breathe, standing and sitting up nice and tall. Big circles for the last one. And now we're going to do the exact same thing again, but go backwards. Here's your 3 examples. And now let's do the real thing. So again, arms straight out to the side. Small circles, bringing them into slightly larger ones, and then even larger ones as we progress through. 2 more, last one, there we go. Taking nice big deep breaths, we're going to start off by doing a standing or seated side stretch. So standing with your feet about shoulder width apart, looking forward, keeping your body upright, you slowly bend to the left or to the right. So just like that, you're going to reach down your leg with your hand, as far as it feels comfortable, and then you're going to pull yourself back up to your normal standing or seated position using your stomach muscles. We're really going to focus on not bending our spine either forward or backwards. We're just going to focus going from one side to the other. And we're going to pretend that a string is pulling us up through our head. We're looking forward the whole time, sliding whichever hand you're on down your leg, Don't go past your knee. And pulling yourself back up using your stomach muscles. Taking nice deep breaths as we do this. One more round on each side, please. And then we're on to the next exercise. For the upcoming exercise, I'm going to split the screen in two so I can effectively demonstrate the standing and seated version. So if you're sitting down, you're going to be doing leg extensions. So sitting on your chair with your back straight and your feet on the floor hip width, you're going to extend one knee until your leg is fully extended out in front of you. You're going to hold it there for a brief second and then return it to the starting position. I'd like if you could repeat this movement 6 times on each leg. For those in a standing position, I'm going to ask you to hold on to something for safety. You're going to stand up nice and tall with your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to swing your leg using your hip and stomach muscles out in front and then to the back. And each time you swing it, you're going to get slightly higher. I'm going to ask you to do this 6 times as well on each side. So next up, we're going to be sitting down or standing, whichever's easier for you, and we're going to do ankle circles. So we're going to turn our ankles slowly around in circles to the right, keeping our movements small and focus only on using our foot and ankle, not our entire leg. We're going to go to the right 6 times, and then we're going to go to the left 6 times. When you've gone both right and left on the one foot, you're going to swap over to the other foot and go to the right 6 times, and then to the left 6 times. And then that will conclude our warm-up. We're going to begin the workout by doing a bicep curl. So standing tall or sitting tall with your feet about shoulder width apart and knees slightly bent if you're standing. You're going to start with your arms fully extended by your side, just like I'm doing. And you're going to clench your fist, turn your hand so your palm is facing outwards, and you're going to bring your clenched fist up towards your shoulder, quick squeeze of the arm, and slowly and nice and controlled, drop it back down towards your side again. So we're going to repeat this 10 times. Those were our 3 examples, so let's go for the real deal now. Sitting and standing up nice and tall, arms by our sides, palms facing outwards. Clench our fist, bring it up towards our shoulder, squeeze the arm so we're engaging the muscle, and then back down towards the side. Put it back to the normal position and go again. 4 more, please. 3, 2, last one. Lovely stuff. Next up, we're moving into shoulder press. So we're going to clench our fists at shoulder height with our palms facing outwards. You're going to keep your chest upright and your stomach muscles tight. You're going to push your fist over your head until your arm is almost fully straight above your head. We're slowly going to do the movement in reverse and bring your clenched fist down in front of your shoulder again. You're going to stop when you get to the starting position and repeat the movement again. We're going for 10 times here. Those were our 3 examples, so let's go for real now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. We're going to move into a bent over row now. Sitting on the end of your seat or standing up, bend your knees, have your feet flat on the floor, bend forward at the waist as far as you can until your back is almost parallel to the floor. Your chest should basically be touching your legs. I'm going to ask you to put your arms straight out in front of you and clench your fists. Without moving anything but your arms, slowly pull your hands back towards your body to the sides of your chest. Hold for a second squeeze your shoulder blades and then lower your hands back down. Again, we're doing this 10 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway there, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, 9, last one now, 10. Brilliant work. We're going to do seated or standing hip abductions next. So if you're sitting down, I want your knees bent and your feet firmly planted on the ground. You're going to use your hip and just bring your leg out to the side. So it's basically a side step. If you're doing this exercise standing up, I want you to hold on to something just for safety, and I want you to focus on using your hip as well to drive your leg out to the side. And then pull it back in. Standing up nice and tall, trying to engage your stomach muscles and your hip. And then we're going to swap over to the other leg. So if you're in a seated position, having your knee bent, taking a step out to the side, using the movement in your hip to drive it, and back to centre. And then if you're in a standing position, keeping your leg nice and straight, bringing it out to the side as far as you can, holding it for a second, and then bring it back in. We're flying, so we are. We're going to do standing or seated calf raises next. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to push through the balls of your feet, raise your heel off the ground until you're standing on your toes. You're going to hold it there for a quick second, and then you're going to lower slowly back to the start. We're going to do each leg individually so we can really focus on what we're trying to achieve. As you can see, I only have the one leg, so I'm going to be doing my left leg twice, but I'm going to ask you to alternate legs and go for 10 times on each side. So pushing through the balls of your feet, bringing yourself up, so you're standing up on your tippy toes nearly, holding it there for a second, and then slowly lowering yourself back down to the ground again. Don't hold your breath as you're doing these exercises. Continue to breathe in a slow, steady and controlled pace. We're almost done our first set. Job done. Great work. I'm going to give you a quick 30-second break now to just grab some water and get yourself ready for our next set. Just about 5 more seconds on the break here. So we're going to roll back into the bicep curls, my friends. So in a seated or standing position, nice and tall, with our feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent if you're standing, with our arms fully extended by our sides, keeping our elbows in line with our body. We're going to curl our fist up towards our shoulder, hold it there for a second, give our arm a quick squeeze at the top, and then nice and slow and controlled, we're going to straighten your arm back down to a fully extended position. We're going to rotate it back to normal at the bottom, twist around again, and away we go. Two more of these, please. From our bicep curls, we're moving swiftly into our shoulder presses. So we're going to clench our fist, bring them in just above our shoulders with our elbows bent, and we're going to push straight up to the ceiling, not fully straightening our arms, but very, very close. And then nice and slowly and controlled, we're going to bring it back to where we started, which is just above our shoulders. We're going to push up, bring it back. We're having our chest up, our stomach muscles tense, looking straight the whole time we're doing this. We're going to slowly pause for a second at the top and at the bottom before we start our next rep. There is no stopping us now, is there? Okay, so we're going to move into our bent over rows again. This translates the same as it is standing as it is to a seated position. All I'm going to ask you, if you're standing, to bend your knees again. So we're going to bend forward at the waist as far as we can until our back is almost parallel to the floor. Our chest should be basically touching our legs. We're going to put our arms straight out in front of us, clench our fists, and pretend that we're pulling something back behind us. We're going to bring our shoulder blades back when we're pulling up, and then we're going to slowly lower our hands back down. We're aiming for 10 of these as well, my friends. So for our second last exercise, we're going to go back to our standing hip abductions or our seated side steps. So again, sitting or standing up nice and tall. If you're standing up, I would ask you to be holding onto a sturdy object like a chair or resting your hands on a wall, just for safety. If you're standing, you're going to raise one leg up and lift it out sideways, away from your body. Pause for a quick second and then return to starting position. And then if you're in a seated position, I'm just going to ask you to lift your foot up slightly off the floor, bring it out to the side and back in again. So we're doing exactly what the name of the exercise is. We're taking a little side step. Out to the side, back in again. Just have our foot hovering off the ground the whole time, just so our hips are working overtime. Almost there. Keep up the great work, everyone. Now then, for our last exercise, we're going to move back into our calf raises. So again, in a standing or seated position, whatever way you're going, sitting or standing up nice and tall, holding on to something if you are standing for safety, and pushing through the balls of our feet, raising our heel up until you're standing on your toes. Hold it there for a second, then lower slowly back to the start. We're going to do 10 times on each leg, but again, as I've only the one, I'm going to do my same leg twice. But if you're able to, I'm going to ask you to alternate it. But if not, no panic. You do whatever you're able for. This is our last exercise before we move into the cool down, so give it everything you have. Brilliant stuff, everyone. That is absolutely mighty going. I'm just going to give you about 30 seconds here again to grab some water and get yourself ready for the cool down. Please do stay with me for the next part. It's only 2 or 3 minutes, a couple of quick stretches, and it means that we'll be less sore tomorrow after our workout. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to begin our cool down. So we're going to start off again by rolling our shoulders backwards, just like that. There's our 3 examples, and now we're going to go for it. So bringing our shoulders up towards our ears and then dropping them back as if we're dropping them back into our back pocket. Up, back, and down and around again. Remember to breathe in a slow, steady, controlled pace. Then we're going to bring our shoulders forward. So basically the exact same thing as we've just done, but we're just going forward. Next up on the agenda is chest openers. So standing or sitting tall with our arms out in front, palm to palm, we're going to inhale and draw our arms out and back at shoulder height. You should feel your chest and your shoulders open up as you take in several deep breaths. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades back together, hold for a second or two, and then return to center. This is one of my favourite stretches personally. It's just so relaxing after a workout. We're just taking it nice and slow, big deep breaths, Stretching out our upper body. Our shoulders and our upper bodies worked very hard through this workout. Keep it nice and relaxing. Feel your breath return to normal. I'm going to ask you to give me 3 more of these. Lovely. Big breaths. Draw the arms back. Squeeze your shoulder blades back to center. Last one. Big one. Fabulous. Next up, we're going to move into the hamstring stretch. So if you're sitting, just put your leg out in front of you, toes pointing towards the ceiling, and lean into it. It's the exact same if you're standing up. You're going to put your leg out in front of you, straight, toes towards the ceiling, and sit into it. I'm going to ask you to hold it for about 10 or 15 seconds, however long you're comfortable. We're going to do this twice on each leg. Swapping over again to the first leg that we started on, sitting into it. Nice deep breaths, feeling it stretch. Lovely. And now stretching our other leg. Fantastic. Next up, we're going to do some ankle circles. So we're going to sit back in our chair, lift one of our feet up, and just with our toes, we're going to draw a circle. We're going to go to the right 6 times, and then we're going to go to the left 6 times. When we've that done, we're going to swap to our other foot and do the exact same thing. Circles one way for 6 times, and circles the other way for 6 times. Now, to close the show out, we're going to do another relaxing, lovely stretch. Our hands and arms down by our side, eyes closed if you wish, and you're just going to sweep your hands up towards the ceiling and push away any negativity, any stress. Big deep breaths out, sweep them up, over our heads, back down again to the sides, stretching out as far as our arms can go. Absolutely beautiful. There we have it. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you to Cara for running this initiative. How brilliant is this, you guys? Please comment below with your thanks for Cara and let me know how you got on with the class. Tell me what you enjoyed, what maybe you weren't that fond of. Let me know how you found it. I'd love to hear. Mind yourselves. Take care.